is your favorite father, your favorite son, your favorite nephew, your favorite uncle, your favorite cousin, your best friend's best friend. It's me, Dr. Larry, and welcome to Living For You, the YouTube channel. This is a safe space, and as you know, a positive place. One of the last, if not only, positive places out here on these internet streets, out here in these YouTube commentary streets. And so I want to say thank you for coming. To my loyal, faithful subscribers, my family, those of you who rock with me, who continue to rock with me, who share the videos, who like the videos, who leave the comments, who send the emails, who go and get up the merchandise and stuff that I got going on, all in my other spheres and spaces that I'm doing. I like to thank you. You guys mean the world to me. I love you. To those of you who are completely not subscribed yet, you're watching the videos, you're liking the videos, but you're not a part of the family, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and join the family. This is a hot spot. This is a place to come get informed, educated, to learn from one another, to grow mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, economic. We talk about it all here. This is one of them places, but it's a positive place. It's a loving place. All of this is done in light and in love. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button. To those of you who've never seen me before, I am Dr. Larry Smith. In fact, if you Google Dr. Larry Smith, PhD, and you look at the images, you'll see this face, this smug. Welcome. I am a certified life and spiritual coach amongst a whole host of other things. If you want to know more about me, you can actually go out to my business website, which is Live For You Coaching, which is a life coaching firm, a spiritual coaching firm. The website is www.liveforyoucoaching.com. That is www.liveforyoucoaching.com. And if you just want to follow me on social media, where I'm always posting things relevant to current affairs, educational, historical, just motivational, you name it, you can actually follow me on social media at Dr. Larry Smith on both Instagram and Facebook. So that's Dr. Larry Smith on both Facebook and on Instagram. You got all that? Wonderful, good. So the reason why I wanted to hop on and talk to my family today is I wanted to talk about no. For no being such a small word, one of the smallest words in the English language, a word that translates into multiple languages. There's other languages that like Italian and like Spanish that use no, just like we use no. For it being such a small word, it is a very powerful word. One of the things you'll know about me as you spend more time engaging and watching the videos and communicating with me, you realize that I'm a very motivational person. I always try to think of the positive before I think of anything else. Before I run down all of the negative situations, I go first to trying to figure out what are some of the positives in whatever situation that I got going on. And those of you who are my friends in life, and you get always around me, and you get advice from me, you know one of the things I do not let you do, generally when communicating with me, is focus on what's not happening right. Focus on the bad. Focus on the not good. Focus on what's wrong. No, because for me, that's useless. I believe in focusing on what you can control and focusing on things that are positive. So no is a very interesting word for me, nonetheless, with all that said. Because no, as you guys know, can mean many things and can be used in many ways. And I wanted to get on here and talk about the power of no, and when no is important to use and when you should avoid no, and just all kinds of different things around that word N-O. No. I want us to know about no. Now, there are certain instances in our lives in which no would be unbeneficial to us. So for example, if I had said no to going to college, or if I had said no to whatever opportunities were presented my way that have been lucrative or successful for me, I would have not done them. If I had told myself you're not good enough, so you cannot do those things, no, then I would not have accomplished anything. But when it came to accomplishments and to doing what I felt that I needed to do and I wanted to do, I refused to just take no for an answer. I refused to tell myself no and to allow anybody else out there to tell me no. I don't take no quite easily when it comes to me wanting to do what I want to do. I'm that kind of person. And so in those instances, a no won't serve you. A no is going to actually prohibit you from moving forward and possibly doing great things. Can you imagine if Martin Luther King had said no to his calling? Or Malcolm X had said no to his calling? Or Nelson Mandela has said no to his calling? Or Harriet Tubman has said, nope, I'm not going to be the one to go back and get those people. Or Ida B. Wells was the one who said, no, I'm not going to report on these atrocities happening to the black community. If Barack Obama has said no to running to presidency, we would have never had Barack Obama as a president. So no, if people use that as the lead in, then not always are we going to get the beneficial things and the blessings that comes from a yes. So there are times when no is completely not the right answer at the right time. However, no can also be a reflection of your boundaries. So if somebody is asking you to do something that you're uncomfortable with, no is okay. If somebody's asking you to fill in your time with them or to not do what you know you need to do, you can say no. Sometimes friends will invite you out, and it is a completely inappropriate time because you got so much work you have to do. You got so much things you got to work on at home or at work and whatever. Or you might have to go to work in the morning time and you can't stay out late. No, in that situation is perfectly okay because it is building your boundaries on what you will and will not do. And if they're your friends, if they're the people who love you the most, then they're going to understand your no isn't a rejection of them. Your no is just a rejection of this moment because at this moment, it is not a good time. It is not a good time. See, people who are healthy-minded, people who are whole-minded, people who self-reflect aren't intimidated by no's. You might meet people in your life who say, I don't like to be told no. Those are very immature people. Those are people who are not emotionally mature to deal with a no because they constantly want people to always tell them yes. Yes is not always good all the time. We look out at some of these celebrities like Whitney Houston, probably Britney Spears, Michael Jackson, Prince. The list goes on and on and on and on and on of how they were always being told yes. Even in things that were not healthy or productive for them, they were always being told yes. Instead of somebody taking a hard line and saying, you know what, no, and really meaning it and drawing that boundary, we probably would have had them still here. Britney wouldn't be in the position that she's in, and so much other things. But because people are so apprehensive of saying no for boundaries, this is where we are. And so no can be a good thing if it's used to draw boundaries or even to save someone's life or to help somebody who's in a tough time. We have to understand that there are many different facets to no. On one hand, it's a protection. And on one hand, it is something that's preventing you from moving forward. So you have to know when is the important moment to say and to use no. I will tell you from my own personal experience, I actually always, all my life, was a people pleaser. Things I didn't want to do, beliefs I didn't want to share in, things I didn't want to engage in, I would always say yes, or I always would just go with the flow. And those of you who know me now, you know I'm not a person who just goes with the flow anymore. Why? Because for much of my life, that's all I did. Instead of saying no, instead of drawing my boundaries, instead of trying to protect myself, I was trying to make everybody happy. So I was a yes man. I went into everything with yes. If friends wanted me to stay out later than I wanted to, yes. If my mom wanted me to do something or believe something that I didn't really want to believe or do, yes. I was just yes. And what happened was, what I realized many years ago, is that the people around me were always expecting a yes from me. So the moment I decided to say no, that changed the dynamics of everything. I never had to bump heads with friends and family members and other people when I began to say no. And that's because they were always expecting the yes. They was always expecting the people pleasing. But what they weren't concerned about is the damage it was doing me internally. The psychological, emotional stuff that I was going through. Because it is just as immature for a person to be consistently a yes person and never drawing personal boundaries or never standing up for themselves. That is just as bad as being on the opposite spectrum of always saying no and always being boisterous and always standing up for yourself. There has to be some middle ground with how we deal with one another. And understanding and knowing when to know is a very important skill that the holistic mind has to get. And so I recommend these 3 things when it comes to know. 1, knowing when it's a boundary or a barrier. When is your no a boundary or a barrier? Is it something that is you preventing something from hurting you, harming you, reducing you, affecting you? That's a boundary. But when it's a barrier, it's something that you're not doing that you might need to do. It might be your calling. Some of you have been called to preach, or some of you have been called to teach, or to be entrepreneurs, or to do all kinds of things. You have dreams and goals and places you want to go and people you want to see, or even somebody you want to date. Whatever the case may be, a no for you would be a barrier. So you might want to get beyond that barrier and be more of a yes. So determine whether or not your no is a barrier or if it's a boundary. The second part of the no, do not be afraid of it. No does not mean negative. Like, right? Whenever we think of language and speech is very important. Communication is very important, and words have meaning and they matter. But we always presume that no is a negative, right? It goes before all of our negative things. It is the prefix to a lot of negated words and so forth. And so we look at no as just this automatic negative. No, that no might be a positive. So don't put negative or positive spins on your no's. It depends on the situation and it depends on the circumstance. And lastly, understand that when it comes down to no and using no, what is it about? Are you doing it for your own personal gratification, or are you doing it to belittle someone else? What is your motive of your no? Is it just a blanket no without any thought? Like if a friend asks you to go out, are you just like, no? You know, that's no better than just a simple yes. It has to be a no that has been something thought through, that you know why you're doing it, and your motivations for doing it isn't to hurt. Your motivation for doing it is whether it's drawing a boundary or, you know, trying to help someone else out or help yourself out. So, no is a powerful word. It's a very short word, but nevertheless, it is a word that we use all the time that we rarely think about, and we rarely put depth into and perception around it. We just use it haphazardly and we move on with our lives. But at the end of the day, that 2-letter word is a very, very, very powerful tool for healing. It is a very, very powerful tool for growth. It is a very, very powerful tool for relationships. It is a very, very powerful tool for self-reflection and self-development. And that is it, y'all. It was on my mind, so I didn't even put any, I don't put on my polo collar shirts or whatever, but I said, no, let me hop on with this because this is bubbling up in me and I want to get it out. So here we are. Family, I appreciate you as I always say. I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you with the highest love. You guys can leave comments, give me video suggestions. I'm coming up with these things and we're putting them out there, but I'd love for you to give me video suggestions. Make sure that you like the videos. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. That's kind of why you're here. And go out and look at all the other things I'm doing. And as I always say, I will see you all in the next video.